late night love reading. And we're live again with the bullshit. I am the High Priestess Phoenix, your spiritual healer, teacher, shaman, seer, oracle, lightworker, starseed, earth angel, mystic, medium, psychic, witch, yogi, guru, messenger of God, child of God, the Lilith reincarnated. On some bullshit, bro. That's fucking with me. God, my spirit guides, my ancestors, the universe. Oh gosh. Let me just kind of sit down. In order to keep up with me, you would have had to catch my earlier video because something leaked out in there. This pus bucket bullshit. Let me just pray. That's when I got down on my knees to get my cards. I was like, help me, Jesus. I was like, jeez, this is not going to go good. How bad is this going to be? Pretty bad. For you or for me? I don't know. Depends on what comes out. I guess it's going to hurt us all. I said something earlier about my fears about my commitment fears and shit like that started coming out. And then Pac, I woke up out of nowhere. And there's that video of Pac being all fucking pessimistic and sour about his love life and shit. Right? You know, he's like, I was in love, but there's no love for thug. It's like Marshall Mathers and shit. It's like the rest of us. It's like, I was once in a long moon ago. Anyways, and it's like, you know, I have to teach him, and it's like, he don't like this ride. I don't like it either. He makes it harder, if you ask me. Going back to it, and that was what I said in that earlier video, is how important Pac was. So then I took a nap earlier, and I woke up, and I saw that video. I was like, you bitch ass, we gotta keep doing this. And then it was like, all right, then here comes Kobe, then keep doing it. And he shows me that earlier in my video, I was like, I ain't going out there. There's someone trying to love me. And I had posted that type of shit right before I fell asleep. I was like, oh, fuck, these fucking love readings are fucking everywhere, and they look scary. So I'm trying to entertain myself, but this shit don't look too entertaining. Meaning I'm scrolling, and it's all the same shit I don't want to hear. It's like, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear it. Why you don't want to hear it? You're not listening. No, I'm not. So anyways, it came down to, you know, fuck y'all. I'll do my own love reading and hear my own message. I need to go to you to get pissed off. I could piss myself off. It's there. I'm real close, but that's what it is too. It's like you take one step forward only to take 10 steps back and be like, you know. Otherwise, you could be like, Pac. Give up on love. Fuck it. Fuck it. I give up. I give up. You give up. You're a sorry ass loser. Alright, I'm never giving up. And that's why it's like, why won't you just fucking give up? Because there's still hope. Fuck. What's standing in my way? Me. I'm already irritated. I got so irritated just thinking about it. I had to rip my shirt off and take my clothes off. I was like, fuck. Fuck. My pants are on the floor right now. I'm like, fuck. Here comes the beast in me. We might need to put these guys away for this. Not like they haven't seen it before. Jesus, help me. I feel like I invoked him first. Like, please, Jesus, help a bitch. Help a bitch. Alright, let's go into the dark side. We have everybody here with us praying over me. There's my circle, guys. There's my circle. It's them praying over me. I don't have to create a circle. They hold me down. We're going to do a love reading. These never go well. I just want to point this out. I mean, I did pretty well on the last one, but I'm already irritated at the very thought of it. Like, what's your problem? I have residual anger, which is not a real thing, as we know. anger is actually pain. Alright? So I have residual pain. These guys are a pain in my ass. There's another thing too, you're suffocating my fucking internet too. Who do we have today? Who was on the freaking deck today? Okay, Marshall popped up. Allie popped up. Fucking Russ don't never want to go away. Look at me, look at what I'm doing, look at my poor hand, and look at me, and oh god, I can't look at you. I'll never look at you the same. Oh, and I think, yeah, that was another thing too. Fucking Lewis was out here selling t-shirts like everyone else. Y'all irritate the shit out of my skin. I could take so much of it, but I took a lot of you today, and I'm just like, ugh. Like, how much more? I don't know, Kobe. What's behind door number 3? In the sense of, it's hard to see a future when all you can see is the past. How about that? Could it be simple? I can't focus on someone new because these guys are still, you know what I mean, flooding my fucking face. You're like, just shut down your internet. I don't follow them to begin with. God tells me. It's an intuitive nudge. Go look at this motherfucker. And so you're like, well, it sounds like it's totally self-inflicted. It is. The longer I stare at these motherfuckers, the better I get. But I'm tired of staring at them. God. What do we got? A loyal guardian. A magical protector is there for you. 33. My ascending masters. That's Pac and me. Me and my boyfriend. I tried to explain that in my last video. There's a lot of new people that don't know how far we go. All the way, bro. He's trying to, I mean, nonsense. No, for real. That's him. That's him. DMX is real sly. He'd be out there doing some weird shit. But Pac? Oh, hell no. And he breaks the rules, too. There's rules to this shit, but he don't really... That's probably why it got him... Why he can't come to the light with me, because he's always breaking the fucking rules. There's a video in Oklahoma when I left Pac, when I couldn't see him. I could hear him, but I couldn't see him. He wasn't in this... I wasn't in the spirit realm anymore. So when I see them, it's really great and grand. But mostly just hear them now. Before, in the videos, get the fuck out of my face. They're everywhere. Somebody's fucking dead people are around you and they want me to tell you something. Like, yeah, like going to the store, so crowded. The spirit is just, you know, they never leave you. They're just all over. Like, oh god. And that's what he said, you know, it's like, I cried real hard because I couldn't see him. I'm like, where are you? He's like, you're in the light. I was like, why can't I see you? Because we haven't got there yet. And I was so heartbroken. I'm like, will I ever see you again? And he said, anytime you step out of the light. So in essence, you know, right then I was in a place, I had built a sanctuary of light around me in Oklahoma. Just a whole sanctuary. I got unbelievable, you know, it was just literally, it was a cosmic hole. It really was. It was really, I was in the dirt right there for sure. And total alignment. But when I had to come out of there and face the real world, he was right there with me. You know what I mean? Sitting there holding my bags and let's go. It's time to go. I don't always see him. But that was the good thing, is when I did start seeing them again. And that's it. It's like once you come down to reality, they're there with you. Once you need, you know what I mean? Once you're walking, you know, that's just it. That's my loyal dog. Alright. What do we got? Deep dark sea mermaid. Finding solutions in unknown places in the darkness. That's what we're doing right now. We're digging for bones. Something's...
Sitting like that. It looks like it hurts your back.
No, it actually feels good. She's like, I sit all kinds of weird ways. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm digging in the deepest part of my bag to find out what's going on. Because I heard it sneak out. It's like, I don't want to go out. I want to fall in love. I'm scared. My fears came out, so we're trying to push them out so we can overcome them. See what they are. What's holding me back. Do you know what I mean? Your subconscious. They're not even something I see. I can hear it, and that's what it is. That's why it's important to speak, to hear yourself, to have that time with yourself and hear yourself speak. You know what I mean? That you have a lot of stuff hidden in yourself. That's what we're doing. We're digging through the dirty. I was like, these are the most dangerous cards I own. Where are we at? Oh, there's one I've never seen before. Butterflies and gloom. After sadness, happiness and hope returns on 22. The butterflies. Butterfly in the sky. I have to start pulling those cards. They're similar to these, just small messages, but intense messages. I've got the butterflies and the fairies. Springtime. It's coming. We'll spring back into action. But yeah. Oh, and the weather. I posted that. We had, again, it was to my surprise that this weird burst of weather had just came through last night. And then today, it sizzled away, but then I also saw that it was going to be cold. And then when I woke back up, they said that intense, terrible weather was coming for everyone. I was like, oh, shit. But yeah, we're still going through some gloomy days. It's not springtime yet. Not fully. When's spring? May Day. May 1st. Until then, yeah, we got one hell of a ride. For Colorado in general, I don't know about everyone, but I tried to warn you that this is some of the most dangerous weather because the hot and the cold is pushing at the same time, and that's what creates the worst. So in essence, we were up into the 80s, bro. And then it dropped tonight. If they activated the cold weather voucher, how that works is it's got to be less than 26 degrees for them to bring people in off of the streets. So that means, you know what I mean, it dropped that significantly. That's the burst of cold weather. You know what I mean? It wasn't slowly getting cold. A big cold front was coming in. That was an unbelievable burst of weather that came through. And now it's going to burst through the rest of America. That was kind of creepy. Again, weather magic and all. Let's keep going. Time to say goodbye. Something is about to end for now. I said that. That's what I posted. The only way out of a twin flame journey is through a soulmate, is what I posted. I remember that now. I do believe that. Because only a soulmate will understand what your soul has been through. And the soulmate isn't the same frequency as a twin flame. The hardest part about this journey, okay, the journey for me, and most will say, I can't say for all, was literally activated by twin flames. Every time I came in contact with one of these strangers, they shoved my life into full crisis and chaos, forcing me to change everything about my life and the way it was going. Now, in essence, you look back and you're very grateful for the freedoms and all of the things that it taught you. But it wasn't a fun ride. It wasn't a fun ride. Do you know what I mean? So, when you look at these people that make you hurt, do you know what I mean? That remind you of your hurt, you just want something else. I don't know. It was savage to me to, after going through so many levels of it, each level of it was just the same. Wanting to make this work with one of my twin flames was unbearable. Because it didn't matter if I wanted to make it work. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't about the outcome. What I learned is how far, and that's what people need to learn, is how, I think I did say that to someone in the last 24 hours. We're afraid to love again because of how much love we gave. But in that, we learn how much love we have to give. It's all a learning experience. Thank goodness we had a chance to love someone. And we get to see how far that love will take us. To where it'll get to a point where I can't do this anymore. But on this roller coaster of love, it's like you're learning to see how far you will go for someone else, how much you will accept, how much you will forgive, how much you will, you know what I mean, have compassion for. You're learning this. But it gets to a point where I can't do this with you anymore. It's not to say you've learned all your lessons. It's just I've hit a point with you. So then there's, just regular daters that you go on and you repeat the same cycle and you follow through and you can handle a little bit more. You start to learn more of what you do and don't like as you're trying to, you know what I mean, have this connection. But then, in essence, it ends because you get to a place where there's too many I don't likes. I don't want to do this anymore, right? So I start out like Pac, like I'm not even going to do this to begin with. I'm not even going to deal with this type of bullshit. I would never deal with this type of bullshit, is where I start. And I start to see how my love for you will break all of my own rules. Which means there's a part of me that's more powerful than me. Right? And I start to see that I am capable of loving someone. And I'm very loving. A little smothering, if you will. But I start to see, you know what I mean, how far I'll go. And there's always this limit where, like, I'm not going any farther with you. I can't get any closer to you. I will not allow myself. There's nowhere to go, blah, blah, blah. And when I hit that ceiling where it's like, no, there's still a part of me that can find another way to go to love you more. In hopes that it's going to do that. But the whole ride is like, it's an amazement of how far I was willing to go for you. Now, when you leave these situations, you're like, you know what I gave to you? I gave you my everything. Well, I sure hope so. I hope you didn't hold back. But in essence, that's what we do, is we give our everything until there's nothing more we can give, right? In every relationship, because we want this relationship, every relationship, to work. Then you get to a place where nothing is working, right? And then you go on and you try to work the same kind of situation with somebody else to see what works and what doesn't. Right? Now, the cool thing about life is, you move on from life and you don't have to see those people again. That's really what it is. It's like, I love them to death, but I'd like to love someone else. And that's where it is. Well, what's holding you back? The experience I had with them. It was such a shitty experience. And that's what's really cool, is like only a soulmate's going to understand it. Because the twin flame fight is pretty much what it is. It's like, I could never. That's all it is. That's all it is. You sit there the whole time. Both of us, I don't give a shit what they say. They're still sitting in that bullshit. That's why they're so very unhealed. Because it's forced. You're forced to give your love. And you don't want to. I don't want to. I don't want to love them. And then you go love them and you feel all good and it's all fucking bubbly and shit. And you're like, oh, they didn't love me back. So go love some more. And that was the whole lesson. What did God say? Love them until it hurts. Never stop loving them. But go love another. And that's where I'm at. I'm like, alright, I'm ready to love another. And then these videos are like, there's someone from your past coming in. I don't know who it is, but it took me forever to get past you. Like, it was a long journey of letting you go, and now you want to come back and say goodbye again? No! It wasn't easy to say goodbye. That was the hardest part. You made me fall in love with you only to say goodbye to you. And that could be every one of your relationships. Why, God? Why'd you give me this great person and then you take away my great person? Because there's something better on the horizon. Shut up, God. It's not what I want to hear. And then you start saying shit to all these guys and they think the next guy is better than them. And you realize you're on a pattern and they're all the same. All right, God. Who's better? You're getting better. Wait a minute, what? They're not any better? No. Hey, Bobby, they're not any better than you, bro. I'm still in the same place I started. Oh, God. Mr. Rogers, you learned so many difficult lessons. I just went through a lifetime of men in 2 years, and nobody touched me. I gagged. That was it. Lovely. What a waste. You ready to do it again? No, I'm not ready. And God keeps shoving it at me. It's like, there's a guy. 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 There's plenty of guys. God. Listen, I'm putting my boobs away. I'm hiding my dress, and I'm hiding myself in a fucking gown, and I'm going to my bedroom. It's kind of what I woke up realizing. It's like, damn, bitch, you shut down pretty hard today. So what? Like, say goodbye for now. That means you gotta face them again later. I'm tired of facing your bitch ass. I want another face to kiss on and love on and squeeze on whenever I have to look at your fucking face. Your fucking face. All I asked for God was to let me stop loving them. And I do whatever it takes to stop. And you can't stop. What it takes to have peace is to just love them. I don't want to. You get no love. Why? I don't know. I just don't want to. Why? Because I come out here looking stupid and shit. My ego. You fuck with my ego and shit. You're fucking with my emotions and shit. Here it comes. It's gonna get ugly from here on out. The skin is flaring. The hemorrhoids have been released. Release the kraken. What is it? Hey, not my wolf. Like, what about Wolfman? They tried to give me a new guy, and I fucking went off. I was like, no, I'll go back to the loser other guys. What'd you learn? I learned a lot of hard lessons. You want to go back to the wolf? No! I learned I learned why I'm attracted to guys like that, too. It wasn't a full rejection. I mean, it's really, I'm trying to discover what I can tolerate, what I can't tolerate, because it can't be, like, that's what they said earlier, it can't be full extremes. There has to be some wiggle room. Alright, listen here, Mr. Wiggles. You know what the Wiggles are? A bunch of these 40-year-old weird British men. So you, Lewis? You're trying to wiggle your way into my life? I'm doing better. I'm laughing, but my eyes are still closed and I'm ready to cry. Oh, God. I will watch over you. Well, that's the moon. I love that. I got out of my car and it was right there. It's my favorite part. It's like, here comes Michael Jackson. You are now. At least I have the universe. I'm just like me and my dogs. Like, that's the only thing bringing me peace here. They're giving me peace of mind. Thanks. Mind your business. I'd be nowhere without my spirit guides. They hold me back. Where we at, spirit guides? Oh, it looks like a party. New skills, advanced training, rapid improvement. What are you training me for next? What did I learn? What am I learning? Well, I did a healing session, is what that would look like. I sat down and did a healing session. And I thought about that later. And that's kind of what I post, is sort of, in a condescending way. Is like, people that have my attention will never forget me. They remember what I said to them because I spoke from my heart and I spoke to truth. I gave them my, if you had a conversation with me, it was an undivided conversation where you made a connection with someone that actually got you. or at least tried to speak some life into you. Do you know what I mean? I make an imprint on the hearts of everyone that God puts around me, even the ones that won't speak to me. You know what I mean? I can feel their interest. As I said that, my freaking felt the shiver in my leg. I can feel it, all of that shit. You know what I mean? There's a lot of unspoken things that be said and shit. So advanced training, it's like, I sat down and had like a healing session with someone. And that's really it, is like, can I just talk to you? Yup. Let's talk about it. And that's really what it is like, I am a healer, so it gave me a chance to talk some sense into you. And at the same time, tell you that, validate your feelings, which is something, you can't find people that really can understand what you're feeling. And then also encourage you to keep feeling, instead of trying to force you to turn that shit off and to get your life together and tell you that it's not important. You know what I mean? I'm going to tell you, to keep working through it, and how to work through it and what you're supposed to be getting out of it. And, I'm not going to give you false time periods of when you're going to heal and all of this, but in essence, it's like, let me help you on your journey. And that was, that's a new place. God gave me an opportunity to help somebody along their journey, and they were brave enough to come and ask for some help, and that was very beneficial for me. But, that's what it is like, I flourish knowing that you're flourishing, because that's what I've been practicing for, is to be able to help people. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't want to receive my message, but then there's, to have a first one come to me and ask for my, professional opinion. That's it. But then there's me, where I was like, I'd have punched that bitch. I'd have lost my job and went to jail. Like, that makes me mad. I kind of want to go punch that bitch right now for you. Like, you don't deserve that. I feel like I want to punch this bitch. What's she look like? And then there's me. And then there's me. Like, no, you're doing great. Wait, who's this bitch? And that's the Lilith and the Cali. Give me their name. Give me their picture. Let me talk to this. I need to humble this bitch. I need to humble this bitch. So it was an experience. You maybe shouldn't have said that. Shouldn't have said that. I felt it though, dude. I felt the protection of this person, and I wanted to fight for them. It's inside of me. I shouldn't have said that though. Shouldn't have said that. Like that Hagrid moment. I shouldn't have said that. I really was. I was like, I want to punch that bitch in her fucking face. It's like, you might want to exit that scene, because I feel like she's asking to get punched. I was like, if you do it, I just want you to know that that's God pushing you. He puts you in a position where maybe you could hold it in forever, but if you don't, it's okay. I want to punch her. And that's that Lilith, bro. You're not going to get that in a professional room. Like, it's okay if you punch that bitch. God will forgive you. He put you in that position, and he's trying to push you. He's pushing you through that bitch, bro. He's pushing that dark side to remind you that you will punch a bitch, and maybe you need to remind this bitch that you will punch a bitch. I feel like I need to punch this bitch for you, just to remind everybody else that I could punch a bitch. I was like, you're a fucking priestess. You ain't punching nobody. Alright, whatever. Punch my time clock, I guess. I feel it. And that's it, too. It's like, your feelings are totally valid. I feel it, dude. I feel it more than you feel it. I hate her, too. Fuck her. Fuck her life. Fuck her. I'm on your side.
I took a shower.
I know. That was amazing. Mm-hmm. I heard you. But then I thought weird things, because you just jumped out of nowhere and jumped in the shower, so that was weird, too. Anyways, going back to it is new skills, advanced training, rapid improvement. Yeah, I gotta get better at that real quick. Oh, man, guys, I can't filter. That's what's funny. That's what makes me unique. Boovs aren't unique. I'm not a boov. I'm a boov, bitch. Get out the way. In the essence, it's like, you gotta get all this shit together before you become rich and famous. Before you become famous, you have to act according to who? To what? To God? God says that he loves me, bro, and he just wants me to act better. He didn't really give me a guideline to that. He just shows me that I suck at some shit and I could be better after the fact. And I work on it. But then I don't remember what he says when I do it again, and then I gotta, he's gotta show me again. Just kids and shit. What are you gonna do? I'm trying. Would I really punch the bitch? I don't know, bro. If she said some shit like that to me, which part of me is what? It depends. Would I have gone to jail? I mean, I feel like if you punch anybody, you're facing jail. So, like, would it got that bad? I mean, if she thought she was that bad, I think we would have gone to the ground and somebody would have had to call for help. That's why God don't let me get in no kind of fucking shit. I'll be ready to fucking snap a bitch's neck. Like, oh, you want to wrestle? You want to wrestle? You want to wrestle? You know what my brothers used to do to me? Let me try this move on you that I saw on TV. Let me see if this really works. I'm dangerous. We all are. That's why we need to keep to ourselves. Don't be bringing that type of shit. Don't be bringing that type of energy to my door. You are not going to... You're going to be put in the floor. Gonna load today. Hey, what's up? Archangel Raphael is helping us stay positive. Thank goodness. Because I was going to punch that bitch. Who is she? I don't even know, bro. She smarted off to my girl. I was like, going to punch the bitch. You have some healing to do. I know. I didn't hurt nobody. I was just thinking about it. You should stay positive. I'm trying. I learned it. I saw it. I mean, I felt it. I feel like it. It's inside of me to fight for you. I got you. I'll fuck about. It got me in a lot of trouble lately, and when I was younger. I'm realizing that. All right. Archangel Raphael, thank you for helping me stay optimistic and take appropriate action steps to support my health. Did you see the measles came out? I saw that they had their first case in Colorado. And I think everybody should be safe unless you were one of the younger generations of like the 30s that didn't fucking vaccinate your kids. You wanted to be a rebel. Listen here, Barney Rubble. You might be in trouble. I don't know what that means for you and your children. But that's kind of it. They gave us a vaccine so that it wouldn't hurt us later. They saw this, you know what I mean? Like, there's reasons they did certain shit. I don't want to argue with you about the COVID vaccine. They were forced to shove something out before they knew if it would work. It was like time was of the essence. We're going to try this and some people might die. What's the survival rate? We're not going to talk numbers. Don't talk numbers. Just get it out. Such a cunt. What else, Raphael? Oh, no. Oh, no. I saw Serial in that. Acceptance. Dear God and Archangel Raphael, please help me accept that everything is going in the right direction. Well, it's going somewhere. Where's the wrong way? How could you be... people ask me that. What about people that are off their path? Where the fuck are they? How did they get lost? What path are they on that they're lost? Because they're not on your path, they're going somewhere else. We're all going in different directions. We're stuck on the same planet. That's what's hilarious about it. A bunch of fucking insects and shit. If you're going in destruction, then that's just where you're going. We've all been there. It's a place. It's a place in a period of life where things just fucked up. It's called a midlife crisis. I mean, in essence, it's like they're heading towards the path of destruction. Oh, congratulations, you have this sense of discernment. You can see what they're doing. You can't stop them. What's in there? Lessons to be learned. Have you been there before? You've seen many people go that way, right? What does it lead to? All great things. I mean, you're not on the wrong path. You're just taking your path. You think that you're supposed to be in the, on the highest peak. That was supposed to be my man. That was supposed to be my life. Bro, again, that happy tower is going to fall on fire. Their fucking reality is not real. Just take your path. They'll be in destruction in no time. You think you're on the wrong path because you're on a path to destruction or everything is being destroyed around you. Meaning, the right path is the happy path, right? Follow the yellow brick road. Did you watch the movie? That fucking road was filled with all kinds of danger. We should have just took the fucking grass, bro. We could have cut through all this bullshit, bro. We could have met some people and, you know, it'd have been cool. We had to get on this golden-ass road and deal with all these fucking golden-ass problems. I'm just saying, all their problems came from following that road. It's that Old Town Road song. I don't remember the beat, but I can take my house to the old something. I can remember. Anyways, what fucking path are you going? You're in the right direction. If you see storms ahead, then get ready. Brace yourself. That's a part of life. Challenge, tribulations. We are in the tribulations days. Endurance, adversity. There's rough waters ahead. The unknown. Nobody knows. We're sailing into fucking bullshit. Are you going to be okay? Yeah. You're going to live through it. Just, like, think about it. Like, what our ancestors lived through. They lived through a hot fucking cotton-picking bullshit-ass day. With no fucking food, no fucking water, and people whipping their ass. They lived their whole lives like that. We're gonna make it through fucking today. Turn the TV off and go outside and play. Enjoy those freedoms that they fucking died for. And what happens? You think that you're supposed to live this all-pleasant life? Nah, bro. Your path is filled with a lot of hardships. Nobody could have took those hardships from you. They're yours to endure. Like, that's part of being human. Heartbreak, hotel, and fucking, you know what I mean? Rejection and shame, embarrassment, neglect. You know what I mean? Betrayal. Get ready! If you haven't experienced that, I apologize for you that to be your future. For some of us, that's all we know. It's been our present, it's been our past and our present forever, and that we have a hard time visualizing a different future like you assholes. We just accept it like Pac and be all pessimistic, and then we gotta get Archangel Raphael down here with his stick up our ass, trying to stir up that good shit. What's the stick? This thing, I don't know what it's called. I mean, they say it all the time in all my cards, I just can't remember. I don't play the memory games. Alright, well, we're here, we're healing. One more for the road, one more Archangel. Jesus, told you just gotta call upon him. There's power in the name of Christ. You ever heard that? They say that a lot. When I sat down, I'm like, oh, Jesus. When I'm crying out, it's, oh, Jesus. It sounds like a joke, but it's like, however you invocate him, I'm moaning for him. I'm crying out for him. Oh, God, help me. Help me, Jesus. Who's going to help me? Who's going to help me have compassion and understanding and forgiveness for these motherfucking assholes? Only that guy, bro. Oh, he was willing to die for your asshole ways. He, like, literally bled his last drop of blood for you to be an asshole. And don't let nobody try to fucking hold you to it, because he already died for it. Let's talk about your karma, right? You think that this is payback for what you've done. He paid the price with his life, bro. So he could give you peace, so you could call on him. You don't have to ask, you don't need their forgiveness. You're forgiven by God through Christ. You just got to remember to call on him and ask him. You know what I mean? Put him in there. Put him in there like slimwear, dude. Wear him. We can't be Jesus, but you know what I mean? Jesus is all, you know, God's strongest weapon is love. And Jesus was nothing but love. You know what I mean? So when you're calling on Jesus, you're calling on some love in this situation. Like, fuck. Give me some compassion, some forgiveness, some understanding as I deal with this. And those are the most powerful things. That's what we're working with right now. You know what I mean? Yeah, Buddha too, if you know his language. All of them, if you know their language, that's what they spoke of. And that's even me as the Kali, if you knew my language. You know what I mean? Like, I shared that earlier. It's like, I shared that song, Don't Let Me Be Misunderstood. I'm fully misunderstood, but you don't know where I'm coming from. I'm coming from a place of love and vengeance. And, you know what I mean? And I'm the goddess of war. I'm warring for you with vengeance and love in my eyes. You know, hate in my eyes, it's the love. And he was all love. You know what I mean? We pray to Jesus. You know, I said that in the church. I was like, you're asking for more God. You want more God. I'm like, I've had enough of God. But I can't get enough of Jesus. Why? Because Jesus is, is putting on a good thing. I don't want to play God. I want to play Jesus. I want to be able to just take the sticks and stones, walk through the day without being bothered, smile and wave and give to the people. That's all he asked. I can be that guy, dude. I can do this for a bunch of unworthy people, a bunch of people that hate me, that despise me, that don't understand me. I can do this. And he did it. That was his calling, to just go out and spread love. He was called to do it in real life, and he's called to do it in all life. You know what I mean? You could call upon him. Lots of people in my profession, they call upon deities. Going back to Wolfman. Wolfman works with Lucifer. Cool. That's gonna, bring out your shadows and shit. But in essence, we're gonna, you need to work with Jesus. As I said, you guys can't get this without Jesus. Without the spirit of love, compassion, understanding, and forgiveness. How do you get that out of Jesus? You understand the life he lived. That's what I get, you know what I mean? It's like, what do I get out of my spirit guides? I wasn't a huge Tupac fan. He was older than my generation. I had one CD of his, you know what I mean? And that was it. And he died when I was quite young, So it wasn't a huge thing to me. Kobe, I never watched play a game ever. DMX, yeah, he was on the fucking radio. Nipsey, never heard of. Till he died. Never heard a song. You're like, you didn't know Nipsey? Nope. By that time I had evolved from street, you know what I mean, from West Coast rap and from street. I'd already, you know what I mean, my music was far different. But yeah, the old schools, I was in the era when I lived the streets when they lived the streets. They were the men of the streets when I was in the streets. But going back to it is, I learned their spirit. No, by being with their spirit, working with their spirit, I learned about the lives they lived. I never watched a Kobe game until I started working with Kobe, and it's like that was his spirit. That wasn't his game. That was his spirit that he applied to the game in every area of his life, and he taught everyone else to have that spirit, which you guys call the Mamba mentality. It's a mindset. But what he has to learn through me is the rigidity of that mindset didn't give room for too much compassion, forgiveness, or understanding. And that's what it is. These guys don't have to come back and learn these fucked up lessons. They guide me and they learn through me, and together we rise. They don't have to put up the skin and learn this fuck up lesson. They gotta watch me in my skin and guide me through it. And through my journey, they learn to have compassion, forgiveness, and understanding that I can't be what you think I should be. But I'm doing my best. And my best has to be good enough for you. And I deserve your love, even though I'm not as good as you. And I had to teach them that, you know what I mean? And that's a hard thing to do when you've got the greatest in the world just pushing and pushing and pushing. It's like, and then finally it's like, who got me out of that? Mac. Somebody had to show me some love, bro, in this. Mac Miller. I didn't know anything about his music or anything about his life, but when his spirit came to me, it was a spirit of love. And then I hear his music later, and I realize that's who he just was. You know what I mean? I didn't meet them in the flesh. Shock G and other people, yeah, I did. But not these guys. Matter of fact, the first time I met Shock G and Money B, I asked him if he was really dead. I was ignorant enough to ask him. If anybody would know, his best friends would know. Like, nah, he's really gone. I mean, so... That's just kind of it. It's like Jesus is... But, when you call upon him, you're asking him to teach you these things. Help me have compassion. Help me have forgiveness. Help me to be kind like you. You were one of a kind. How could you be so kind to people that were so mean to you? They wanted to kill you. They wanted to destroy you. How did that not bother you? He was so unbothered. I mean, they said he wept. So I guess, that's what I asked him. It's like, he had his own trials. He had a really fucked up life, bro. It happened real fast. And then the more you read the Bible, you see how God did this to so many. That he just switched the light on them and made them his workers till their last dying breath. And this was gonna be hard ass work, but he promised them eternal life. He promised them peace, and that's what we do get. How can you go through all this? Because I have peace. As long as I deal with what's inside, I can keep that peace while all the chaos is going on around me. The chaos is always there. No matter where I put myself, there's chaos. Do you know what I mean? Unless you go out into, like I said, into the wild, where there's nothing but God and the peace, the garden. Go for a walk. Sometimes not even a drive, but, sitting outside. That's where the peace is. And then it's like that. I just need to be outside. I can't find my peace. It's outside. Just saying that. So going back to Jesus. Dear Jesus, thank you for your divine healing power and presence. I don't know. I guess we're getting closer to what he might look like. Yeah. And, spirituality, I got on Mike Stead about that. He said you don't have to be religious to be spiritual. You can't be spiritual without knowing God. You have to realize that there is a spirit of God running through everything. Once you give it a name, you're halfway to receiving it. Because that's what he said. Proclaim out of your mouth that God is real. Accept God. Ask him for forgiveness. And be baptized in the waters. Be washed away of your sins. Walk by the 10 Commandments and treat everyone as you shall be treated, despite how they treat you. Treat them like children. Treat them like Jesus did. That's it. That's all he asked of us. Those are his little basic rules. Otherwise, have a fun life. Okay, yeah, this is great. All right, let's go into the hard stuff. Let's dig out some romance problems. Help me, Jesus. Help me, Jesus. I think, Jesus probably feared intimacy. Being fully closed off, you know what I mean? Going back to Moses and all of them. I'm sure they feared intimacy. They didn't want to lose their intimate relationship with the Lord. So they stayed close to the Lord and they didn't get close to people. They were very, disconnected. Set apart is what he does to us. So intimacy, getting too close to a person, I feel would have been, fearful for him. He was a grown man that he was by the age of 40 and didn't have a woman. If he would have had a woman, he would have kept a woman. It was like one and done in those days. But he never had the sensation for a woman. And then Mary Magdalene comes along. I'm sure he was fearful of... No, he didn't wear the flesh. Fear is of the flesh. That's where it's hard. It's like, you can't relate to me, Jesus. You didn't wear my skin. You didn't wear the same skin as us. But in essence, maybe. And those are those intimate conversations when you get to such a high level. What about you and your girl? Were you afraid to whip it out? Only somebody that, would you talk to Jesus about your sexual traumas? Why not? He's the healer. Can't make it go away. And he doesn't really understand. I tried to go to him. I tried to ask him. I've gone to everyone. It's my karma. She brought it up when she talked about the body insecurities. She said, I don't like to be touched. And it brought it up. I was like, oh fuck, you're right. Neither do I. Like, don't hug me, don't touch me, don't get it too close to me. Why are you sitting on top of me? I don't know. That's it. It's like, I can only speak for myself and my experiences. But if I had to put a word in it, it's like you pull us close just to hurt us. It may start out nice touch, but then it turns into, you know what I mean? I wasn't just, you know what I mean, sexually abused though. I was beat in my relationships, like fully pounded down. And I have a way of getting under people's skin. You know what I mean? Like Marshall, I feel like, you know, some of the shit that comes out of my mouth, he might lay me the fuck out. And then we're gonna be looking at each other like, oh, that wasn't good. I guess I pushed you. Yeah, you fucking pushed me. And then I pushed you back. And now we're on the fucking ground and acting like fucking clowns. In the sense of, he can't fix all your problems. But that's where he can help you find, you know, he can't fully, but he can help you to find, you know, gentleness. The fruits of the Spirit are love, joy, peace, happiness, gentleness, forgiveness, kindness, long-suffering, patience, for which such there are no laws. Right? So it's like, that's where they were holding me down last Thursday. It's like, I just wanted this to go away. I was like them. I just want this to be over. Haven't I done enough to make this go away? You can't heal multiple lifetime problems in one day. And maybe not in one life. But we can start working on it in this life. You know what I mean? For some of you. And I signed up to do all of it in one life. And it's like, you know, you'll see the beginning of the video. I really thought I could do this shit in a fucking summer. And it gets repetitive and it gets mundane and it gets played out. It's like, here we go again. New music on Friday, right? Like, why do you listen? God tells me to. I don't do anything I don't want to do. I only do what God tells me to do. He forces me to be part of this. I didn't want to. I don't want to most of the time. But every time they push me to my limits, I can push those limits further. I can see what my limits are and where I've created this limitation to myself. You know what I mean? It's like, just when I think that I can't, you won't do anything stupider. You go and turn around and do something like this and totally redeem yourself, meaning you push me off an edge only to see that I had, you know what I mean, where the edge was. And that it's, you know what I mean, that I could have handled it better. I could, you know, that wasn't, I went off the edge. I created that edge. Meaning it's, you're pushing my fucking limits. Where are my limits? Apparently I have no limit to how far you're going to push me. Stop pushing me. But in pushing me is pushing me to face my limits. The things I will not accept. And learn to, as Archangel Raphael said, have acceptance for. And that's that fucking serenity prayer that I never remember. Something, oh God, I saw a card that pissed me off. Oh God. To accept the things that I cannot change and change the things that I can and yada yada. I don't know. It's a thing they say in rehab. I'm pretty positive that Marshall could take the mic on this one. I only went to rehab once. That's one more time than you. What's her fucking name? What's that bitch that didn't want to go to rehab? Amy. It's one more time than you did, Amy. If you would have done it one time, you might still be here today in this conversation. Ew. See you in the next life, bitch. Since I'm an asshole like that, I'll see you in the next life. You're gonna have to learn this. So yeah. But again, he's something, you know, he's all kind and I'm all evil is what you would consider. No, I just have a wicked heart. I'm not a bad person. And everything good is what he is that I pray to and what I've learned. You know, his words and his teachings are what lie within me that make me a good person. And that's called that Christ consciousness. I want to be a good person. Yeah, me too. You know what I mean? But sometimes the Christ in me doesn't always come out, and you end up with fucking me. I'm trying to punch you in the face and shit. I'm trying too, bro. It's not, you know, you're not just filled with the Spirit of Christ. You're constantly trying to fill your cup up with Christ, but they fill your cup up with a lot of shit when you go out there. You guys are full of shit. You guys dumped all this bullshit on me. Now I'm full of shit. I'm like just full of shit. That's what that is, bro. And, you know, I show you all of the different gods, and that it's all gone. It's all good, but he was the best at it, bro. And he was always proclaimed by all time. They all knew he was coming, bro. He sits at the highest throne because he really put on the skin, bro. He was God in the skin. He didn't have the flesh. That's what I mean, dude. Our flesh, and that's what I'm here to teach you, is what that flesh is and how to take it off. This isn't you. It's just how you know what I mean? Me wanting to punch that person. Are you really going to punch? No. My fucking flesh got really inflared. This is, you know what I mean? I'm programmed to do such a thing when I hear such a thing. Are you going to do it? No. That's just what I'm taught. I don't do what I'm taught. I don't do what I'm told. But I feel it. I feel it. And that's where it is acknowledging that all of these feelings are put on the skin, and we can take them off. We feel rage. We feel vengeance. We feel sadness. We feel betrayal. We feel everything. And that's where I go to him. It's like, did you feel this way? Did you have to face this feeling and overcome it in your flesh? And he can't always show me it, because no, he didn't feel that way towards people. Despite what all people did to him, he did not feel that way. And that's what I mean, is he didn't wear the flesh like we did. God, he was the perfect image of God, bro. Meaning God, if he was out here in his skin, bro, he'd just let you shit on him. He lets you shit on him already. He'd just be loving you and just keep receiving you and keep forgiving you forever and ever and ever. And that's what God is, and that's what Jesus is. Alright, I'm going to do whatever it takes to set you guys free. I'll die myself. I'll die myself so that you guys don't have to keep living dead. You know, and that's God. God put himself in a body, and he sacrificed that body for everybody. It was his rule that sacrifices must be made, so he sacrificed himself. And that's what we learn, is about self-sacrifice through Christ. We learn a lot through this. You know what I mean? The whole thing is, you know, they try to denote that, you know, they put all these rules on it, that if you don't act like all this extra shit, then you're not Christ-like and you're not welcome into his kingdom. But the longer you study this man, you realize he loved everyone and everybody was welcome, and that's all he ever said. And that's what all the prophets ever said. You know what I mean? John the Baptist knew he was coming before he came. Everybody knew he was coming before he came. He was coming to save everyone from their way of life. Give them a new way. Oh, shit. Somebody just texted me the freaking... That's great. Let's look it up. That was great timing. Are you watching? It could be. They texted me a Bible verse. Oh, that's what I said. Tell me what your church... Tell me, if you don't remember anything about church tonight, just send me a verse. That was awesome. Let's pull it out. Speaking of the devil. Speaking of Christ and God. That was exciting. What'd they send me? Oh, wait. Don't text me too much, because then I'll have to leave the video. It was Psalms 23, 1 through 6. Let's go to it. See how the Holy Spirit works? I thought I was going to have to go deal with boyfriend shit. Let's deal with Christ. He's better. She said, let me see. 23, 1 through 6. Everybody pull out your Bibles. Mine says my name. It was a fucking wedding gift. I'm so divorced. We still have those problems. Are you ready to get married again? I'm working on it, Jesus. Let's see what your word says. 23, 1 through 6. Psalms is in the beginning. The Bible is big and full of my feathers. I love my feathers. I have my owl feathers and my hawk feather in here. All right. Job, Isaiah, Jeremiah. Stop it. Ezekiel. No. Go backwards. Proverbs, Psalms 23. There's a billion psalms. What's a psalm? It's a hymn. It's a song. Psalms is a song to the Lord. It's a praise. That's what they had. They had all these praises to the Lord. So when you go back to St. Patrick, and he said he would pray over 120 times a day, he was saying psalms like this. Repeated prayers. Incantations, if you will. 23, that's 18, 26, 23. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in the green pastures. He leads me beside the still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me into the paths of righteousness, for his name's sake. Yeah, though I walk through the valleys of the shadows of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table for me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup runs over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Again, I don't have the scriptures. You'll hear the whole Bible in my teachings, but not pointed out by scripture. I couldn't have told you that that's where this scripture was. I just know the words. I don't know where they got them from. I know I got them from God. They're God's words. I don't know where in the book. They're repeated over and over. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. Meaning you don't got to worry. He's got you. He's going to provide you. He makes me lay down in the green pasture. Go outside. He leads me beside the still waters. That's funny. Stillwater, Oklahoma. That's what I heard. Meaning the calm. He leads you to the calm. He leads you to the pastures and to the calm. Okay? He leads me on the path of righteousness for his name's sake. He doesn't do this for you. He does this because of who he is. All right? And though I walk through the valleys of the shadows of death, meaning that this is literally hell on earth, I will fear no evil. Why? Because God walks with me. It's the same thing we said on Sunday. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. What does that mean? Well, I have one too. It's, that goes back to it is the shepherd. All we had was a stick. If somebody was going to come at us, all we had was a stick. God anointed this stick, and with this stick, I ask for your power to protect me and my people. That's all you had back then. What were you going to use? A gun? They didn't exist, doofus. You had a stick or a rock. Sticks and stones. That's what they did to Jesus. Sticks and stones the shit out of him. Sticks and stones, bro. And what do I play with? Sticks and stones. You prepare a table for me in the presence of my enemies. Okay, first off, I don't have any enemies. These are the people that's, Judas wasn't an enemy to Christ. He betrayed Christ, but he wasn't his enemy. If he was an enemy, he might have treated him like such. He was his brother, and he treated him like his brother to the very end, knowing that he would betray him. And that's exactly the relationship that Thor and Loki had. Baldur actually got killed by Loki. That was Cain and Abel. God made him this way. God knew that Cain would kill Abel. He didn't prepare Abel to be killed. He told Abel to love thy brother until his last dying breath. Even if it's at the hands of your own brother, you love thy brother. Who's your brother? Everyone. In the moment of, hands-on combat, somebody's going to die. Somebody's going to live, but that person's going to be a murderer. Do you want that blood on your hands? Yeah, you might live, but you're going to look at your hands for the rest of your life with that person's blood on them. Forever. That's that woman. She'll never be able to, she'll know she's forever a killer. I shared that in my community page, the one that ran over the people and killed them, drunk, driving. She has to live with herself for the rest of her life as a killer. She has to tell herself that she is forgiven by Christ. even though she could never forgive herself for killing somebody's children. Only through Christ can you find this forgiveness that you can't, that peace that you can't give yourself. We've all sinned. Knowingly or unknowingly, we've all hurt people. What this means is, you prepare a table for me in the presence of my enemies, meaning you sit me in front of my enemies, and you sit me up high. God made me face them, bro. He made me, I was scared, bro. I didn't act like it. You never show them, you don't show them you're afraid. But when God asked me to go to the studio and do that fucking ceremony, I had to face them. These are the same people that made fun of me my whole career, bro. They made fun of me because I was chasing God and they were chasing fucking views. They made fun of me. They tore me apart behind my back. And God wanted me to sit in front of them at the highest table. It wasn't what you think. It's not a good feeling to sit at that table and face these so-called people that betrayed you. That's what that means. He's not putting you above them. He's putting you right in their face. So you can face what they've done and they can face what what they've done to you. And you can hold your head high while they look upon you in shame. It's not a good feeling because in essence, you never want to see these people again. You anoint my head with oil. We do that all day. Everybody wants to know what I do with all my oils. They did it at the church service. They brought a huge bottle of olive oil that's been prayed upon, and they ask if you want healing, I'll anoint you and pray for God and your healing. I told my daughter just the other day, we had one of the most violent, one of the less violent periods we ever had with just using the sacred oil. We anointed our uterus with it. We just put it on the outside, and we were able to make it through our periods, which we don't normally. You have tons of oils. God's trying to get me to get my altar bag up here, and I'm going to bring it because I need to rotate my oils. I should have been wearing my eclipse oil. I have full moon oils. We use them. Right now I'm just using my Lilith, and then my Lilith and Kali. I'm staying in those energies. So we anoint our heads with oil, all right? My cup runs over. What is that? I'm filled with love and joy and peace and happiness. Not my pockets. You don't put your cup in your pocket. The waters are your emotions, right? Whatever's in your cup. What's in your cup? What's in your pocket? It's your emotions. The cups represent your emotions. My emotions run full. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. Meaning God's got me. I'm going to be good. I'm going to be good. And I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. What does it mean, the house of the Lord? In His Spirit. Though I walk through the valleys of the shadows of death. Meaning I know that this is not what God intended, and this is literally how I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. That's it. Where do I go? I come running back to my altar. This is my house of the Lord that I've created. Sorry. This is it. And I create an altar everywhere I go, and that's where I go. You know what I mean? I stay with God. In the essence, He never leaves me, but I have to reassure myself and keep Him around, as much as I say I've had enough of Him. You can't really have enough of Him because you need Him more and more every day to help you get through it. Maybe not hit that form. You know what I mean? And that's where you can learn all the different forms of God. Going back to the fallen angels, that 1/3 of the angels were taken with Lucifer. 1/3 of God's first creation had to learn hard lessons, while the other 2/3 watched them learn. Do you think the watchers weren't learning too? They had to learn. They had to just learn a lesson. How do you think that made God feel that all of these babies left home? Do you think He wasn't scared and worried about them and watching them and sending, protection and stuff to them? You're His children. I was His children. And that's going back to it. It's like, oh, shit. He had to keep His eye real close on me. I never left. I was everywhere. He couldn't put anyone on me because I couldn't stay still. It's like, talk about a run, fuck. An errant child. It didn't. And just because he put them in a place to learn their lesson doesn't mean he left them and abandoned them and forsake them there. But we felt that way. We felt like he didn't love us because we had to go through such hard times. We felt like we weren't, you know what I mean? He didn't care about us. That's not true. He cares. He wants you to learn this lesson, and that's why, you know, that shows how much he does care. Because ignorance isn't bliss. He doesn't want you to be dumb. He doesn't want you to be unknowing and unready. The whole thing he teaches you is to be still and prepared. How do you be still? How the fuck am I supposed to stay still? You're supposed to have faith. What am I ready for? Anything. Which means you're supposed to be fearless. So he teaches you all these lessons. To just be patient and overcome your fears. Be a kind person. Be forgiving. It's a lot of stupid ass shit that we keep doing over and over every day to learn these lessons. And just when you think you got it down, somebody will come and push your fucking buttons. Like this card. I don't feel sorry for how you treated me. I don't feel sorry for myself. I don't dwell on it. I have to face it. I have to feel it. I overcome it. And I move on.
What?
But when everybody in the world has treated you horrible, you're fearful of how people are going to treat you. I was scared to go in that church because of how people would treat me. This person invited me to church with them tonight, and I was like, no, you can't take a witch to church. And that's why. Because they're going to judge me, and then they're going to judge you. So when I leave, they're going to talk about you. It's not worth it. It's self-sacrificing. But you see, I love church, and I love God's message, and I live in it. I just don't teach it over here because I have so much more I have to teach, and you can get that anywhere. You really can. It's everywhere. You can get Jesus' teachings everywhere. This stuff is long forgotten or never even known. And I have to bring, you know what I mean, show you that Christ is in it too, because everybody knows Christ, but did you know that Christ lives in all things? That God was in all things, and that all people are worthy of God, and all these people are God's people too. Going back to it is, I have those moments. I wish I would have not said that. I wish I would have not did that. We live, meaning we experience something, and then we learn. And then this kind of card is like we have empathy. It's like, damn, I could have done better. That's part of the healing. Just realizing it. That's all that Kobe says is you could be better. What does that mean? I don't know. Tell me where you think you could be better in your life. I'm not here to tell you where to be better. I'm just saying you can be better. And when that understanding, you know, it's like, well, where am I slacking off? You're right. I can do this better. I can be more Christ-like. So, you know, yeah. We'll leave it on that note. I don't know if we got into any of my relationship issues. I guess we got to the, you know, a good relationship, which is a relationship with Christ. I know, when you sit there in church, you hear these stories. You hear about, for those of you that have never been to church, you hear about God's wonders, how he worked through, how he sent these messages out to people, doing these unbelievable things. You know, so last week's message that I caught on camera was the story about Moses' death. That's what they talked about, the death of a prophet. And how that was supposed to give you inspiration to keep going. You know? And these stories are crazy. They're crazy stories. It's like you see what God did, and you see how God was, and you know what I mean, and you learn that it's very captivating. You know? And that's why people study the Bible. It's all full of wonders. It's full of magic. We're trying to understand it. And then the understanding is in the weird verbiage that they tell you. It's very simplistic. Every message really is. Pick a page, any page, and all these pages. Let's go right here. The widow and the two mites. Where are we at? Luke. And he looked up and he saw the rich putting their gifts into the treasury. And he saw also a certain poor widow putting 2 mites. So he said, "Truly I say to you that the poor widow has put more than all. For all of these out of the abundance have put in their offering for God. But she, out of her poverty, put in all of her livelihood that she had." Jesus predicts destructions of the temple. Oh, this is getting good. Did Jesus lie? Never. He predicted it. This would be a future prediction from our Christ. Then, as some spoke of the temple, how it was adorned with beautiful stones and donations, he said, "These things which you see, the days will come in which no one stone shall be left upon that shall not be thrown down." He's pulling the temples down. He said it. These were his words, bro. They were mighty. And let's see. So they asked him, saying, "Teacher, but when will these things be? And what sign will there be when these things are about to take place?" And he said, "Take heed that you do not be deceived. For many will come in my name, saying, 'I am he,' and the time has drawn near. Therefore, do not go after them." Meaning there's a bunch of people claiming the word of Christ and that it's the end of time and not to go near them. "But when you hear the wars and the," what does that say? "Commotions, do not be terrified, for these things must too come past first, but the end will not come immediately." He's telling us about the end times himself. Let's see. Then he said to them, "Nations will rise against nations, and the kingdoms against kingdoms." This is why I don't read this, because it always ends up in the end times where we are, and it freaks everyone out. Again, it's coming from Christ himself. You don't have to read Revelations. He's telling you, are we there? And that's what I said to you guys this morning. Do you know that we're in hell? "And there will be a great earthquakes in various places, and famine, and pestilence, and there will be fearful sights and great signs from heaven. But before all these things, they will lay their hands on you and persecute you, delivering you up to the synagogues and the prisons, and you will be brought before kings and rulers for my name's sake." They're persecuting you in Jesus' name. They're saying you're no good by Jesus, that you're not holy, that you're unclean. And it said, what did it say? They will persecute you, delivering you up to the synagogues, meaning, you know what I mean, ruining your name with the churches and putting you in prisons. "You will be brought before kings and rulers in my name, but it will turn out for you as an occasion for testimony." Meaning you're going to tell this story. Just like DMX. Why are you in jail? I'm here because I'm here to tell someone that Jesus loves them. We have to fight, you know what I mean? This is what happens. They're going to hang us. "Therefore, settle in your hearts, not meditate beforehand on what you will answer. For I will give you the mouth and the wisdom which all your adversaries will not be able to contradict or resist." And that's it. He'll tell you what to say, where they can't fight back. "You will be betrayed even by parents, brothers, relatives, and friends, and they will put some of you to death. And you will be hated by all for my name's sake." Meaning you're unholy. You're a witch. They throw us out in the name of Christ. They say because of the teachings of their temples that we're not worthy and that we don't deserve love. "But not a hair on your head will be lost. By your patience possesses your souls." You got to weather this storm. And they said it right there, the dark night of the soul. Who's going to betray us? Our parents, our brothers, our relatives, our friends. And they'll even kill us. What happened to Pac? Who betrayed him? What happened to Biggie? Who betrayed him? He's coming. And it's these times. He's coming. He's here. His spirit is everywhere on 606. Who's judging you? Him. Vengeance is his. That's what you don't get. God gave him the power to free you, but he also gave him the power to persecute you. In the beginning, he was here to free you, but it says in all of these end times, it's him that unleashes hell upon earth. I don't know why you don't know that. It's him. There's no devil. You're taking away from his power and giving it to a false entity to keep you subjugated. The churches are telling you that they're killing you in his name. They're saying that you're unchristlike, that you're unholy, that you're not a godly person, that you're not protected by God and you will not go to heaven for your evil ways. I'm here to tell you that's not true. And those that keep trying to oppress you are going to be the first ones he comes for. He died to release the oppression, only for these motherfuckers to come back and oppress you again. Some of them will be forgiven because ultimately it's just passed down. They really, with all their heart, they wanted to go against the doctrine, but they were too afraid. But even then, the book told you to have no fear for man, to stand up, to walk in the Spirit against man. But they couldn't walk against their own men, which was that of the church. Not all of the Catholic clergy is fucking, you know what I mean, evil. But most of them have that fucking mentality that if you don't walk their way, you are not worthy. So they try to convert you. It's all about a conversion, to force you into, you know what I mean, into their slaves of the word. And that's what he said. They will persecute you in my name. They will claim to be me. They will claim to be Christ-like. They will claim to be a prophet and a messenger. These are those false prophets, they said. They will claim to walk in the Spirit of Christ, but they're not. And they tell you how to walk and how you can walk and what you can and can't say to be okay by God. And that's where you start reading this book and you realize they're fucking lying, bro. That's not what Christ said. That's not what Christ said, bro. That's not what he said. The more you study Christ, the more you realize you end up walking away from your church. The closer you get to Christ, the further you have to get away from your church. You realize that Christ was all about love, and there's no way he doesn't love gay people. What's not to love? I don't care what they're doing. They're lovely people. Christ loves them, bro. He loves everyone. He loved everyone. This isn't true. This isn't true. He loved everyone. He died for everyone. This isn't true. You're trying to say that they can't receive his promises unless they go through you. This isn't true. The more you read about him, the more you realize they're lying to you, bro. And yet, he is in every book in all history, bro. But the people that are reading his story to you are lying to you. And that's what this Second Testament is. So, like, there's the Old Testament and the New Testament, right? The Old Testament was people's testimony to what God did in their time. The New Testament is basically a bunch of people's testimony of the witnessing of Jesus. So if you go into the beginning of it, you've got all these people, right? You got Daniel, Luke, Jeremiah, all of them, or, no. In the beginning, or in the second part, you have the letters. Let me explain how this works to those that have never picked up a Bible. And if you want to argue, then go ahead and take that shit to church. Okay? Okay. The New Testament starts with Matthew. Matthew tells his story first of his experience of Jesus, right? And then it goes into Mark. These are all of the disciples of him, right? I want to point out these were not their names when he met them. He gave them different names. Okay, then we talk about Luke. These were all, you know what I mean? Acts. Now, these are the acts that happened during that time. Then there's John. Okay? Now, we start talking about these stories. These are the stories that happened, right? So then we start sending the letters. This is around when Paul comes in, right? The Romans, if you want to understand the full Bible, read the whole book, the New Testament, read the whole book of Romans or the whole book of Ephesians. What it was were letters to the Romans explaining what was going on outside of their gates. You know what I mean? They didn't know. So Paul started spreading the word. he started writing what we call these testimonies, these books. So he wrote letters to the Romans, to the Corinthians. He was writing letters. He was visiting these people. You know what I mean? The Thessalonians. Then there was Timothy. Timothy was one that worked with him. These were all letters to the people about the workings, about Jesus and what he had done and what his message was. That's all that this was until the end. I told you. The revelation of Jesus Christ, which God gave him to show his servants things which must shortly take place, and he sent and signified it by his angels to his servant John, who bore the witness to the word of God and to the testimony of Jesus Christ and to all things he saw. Blessed be he who reads, and those who hear the words of the prophecy, and those who keep things which are written in it, and for the time is near. Greetings to the 7 churches. And that's it. It's like we're telling you what we've seen. This is it. We were told this is what I saw. This is what I got to tell you. As a messenger of God, I do these every day. God told me to tell you this. God wants me to sit down and talk to you about this. I don't know. God gave me a vision, and he wants me to explain this to you. That's what that is. The rest of the stories are about God's works. But all of the New Testament is about Jesus, the new God, the new way of God. Jesus brought the message of the new way of God. Moses did the same. All of them did. God evolves. I'm bringing you the new message of God. I'm bringing you the message of the new religion that they speak of. All religions become one in Christ. You don't have to become a Christian. We're not following the Christian doctrine. Christ's story is told by that Bible, but they don't own it. They don't have power to his story. Those words are for everybody, and the power in his name is for all of us. That, you know what I mean? And that was the importance to teach you that he died for you, so that you could live freely, that you didn't have to live in the persecution of your mind or of others, that you could walk with God and God walks with you. That's what those stories teach you. That's not how they use it. They use it as, you know what I mean, disciplinary action. They tell you how important it is to walk with God, but they don't show you, you know what I mean? They tell you you can't. Or whatever. I don't know what they tell you, to be honest. But hey, alright. This was good. This took a different direction. And anytime it ends on Christ, it ends on a good note. That's what it's like. You're a witch. That works for Christ. I'm a great many things. But I'm working here to and that's what I say. It's like I teach the Christ consciousness. How to have a Christ mentality. How to become Christ-like. That's what I teach you. But I am all those other things. You know what I mean? In order for me to be that, I'd have to be just that, you know? I'm all of those things, but ultimately I'm all of those things for Christ. You know? The Palladians want me to teach you about Christ. Buddha wants me to teach their people about Christ. And Krishna wants me to teach their people about Christ. All these people, they want you to accept Christ because Christ accepts you. And if you can accept Christ, if we can all be accepted by Christ, we can all be a family again. In Christ, we are all one again. And that's what you understand. It's like he went to everyone, bro. He wasn't there for a select few. A select few tried to say that they have access to him. They tried to deny your access to him and say you're not worthy of him. But he was here to love you and to have those conversations. How do you develop a relationship with with an entity? Get to know them. Spend time with them. Ask them questions. Listen to their answers. Why do people invoke entities, deities, dead people? Why do you go to a medium? To keep a relationship alive that you think might be dead. You have questions. He's here for you. He's not in that book, bro. These are just stories about the life he lived, and that goes back to it. It's like Marshall Mathers is in none of his music. maybe glimpses of him. That's just stuff he did with his life. That's not who he is. That's just what he did. Lewis is not just a Formula One driver, bro. Yes, you can learn great things about driving a car from Lewis Hamilton, but he can teach you more about adversity and kindness and love and respect and honor and all kinds of other things. And that's it. It's like, I understand that Kobe was a basketball player, but that's not who he is to me. And he never was just that to me. That's just what he did. You know, and going back to Christ, it's like, what was he? And who is he to you? Have you met him? Do you know about him? He's the most powerful, you know what I mean, spirit that God made. He's a spirit of love. And he came to give you love, to teach you forgiveness. To, you know, he died for all of that. That was his whole thing. He was a sacrifice for you to learn these lessons. And when you can't learn them, you go back to the guy that learned them for you. You know? So I'm seeing Wolfman. It's like, and there's a lot of people in spirituality, they just don't know, they don't know Christianity because of, you know, the condemnation. There's a lot of people in Christianity that didn't know Wicca because of the idea of it, or didn't know, you know what I mean? We still don't know much about the Muslims, the Judeans, you know what I mean? We don't know a lot about a lot of stuff, but we're learning as much as we can. And we're, you know, we're not opposed to any, you know, space or race. We can find Christ there. We can find a way to bring you in the name of Christ. You know what I mean? We're not leaving you out. We just don't know how to approach you just yet. We don't know how we'll be received. You know, going back to Islamic, they're not going to like this too much, but it's not going to be rejected by all. Because some of them feel it in their heart. And that's where it is you become to a place where you have to kind of reject your religion in order to have some freedom. Your religion is not allowing you to breathe. They're not letting you be free. And it's either go against God and, you know, become a deviant, as they call you, and you have, you know, you're a bad person, or you have to walk away from the church just so you can feel free to live and not feel like a bad person all the time. I don't know. Maybe I just had, you know what I mean? Maybe I need to go back in church and see if the message is a little bit different. But I feel like that, you know, I went through church, and it was all condemning. You need to do this, and you need to do that, and if you don't do this, God's gonna get you. Or maybe that's just Old Testament, because God will get you. God's gonna get you. Fuck, He's gonna get us. Oh, Jesus has come to save us. But He's not gonna pull you out of hell. And that's where it is. It's like, you know, He's fairly, we're here in it. And He's supposed to comfort us through it. We find comfort inside, not in the things of the outside. They only stress us out even more. You know what I mean? That peace is inside. That peace of spirit, that peace of mind is something you have to give yourself. And I'm going to teach you to work through it. Tomorrow's Thursday, so we should be in a good day, but I don't know. I felt it kind of crushing me, and whatever it was didn't come to the surface during this video. And it's just fears. Just trying to get to the bottom of my fears so I can, you know, get over them. And again, you just want to get over some shit. I'm ready to get over this. Can't force this. That's it. Hey, on 133.33. I love you guys. You guys have a good night. I'll catch you tomorrow. Later, haters.